Howdy, Possum Patty and Mr. Flat Stanley are here with the Dirt Road Diary Stanley Studies Rocks Journal. He's taken quite a few trips up and down the street collecting rocks, and Mr. Possum has decided to help, and that is a funny story, so come on along. First, let's talk about Mr. Possum's rock, which I did not bring in the house, but I have a picture of it. There. So Mr. Possum decided to come on a few of our Dirt Road Diary rock hunting walks. And we got all the way up to the corner towards where the mailbox is. And that is close to the road that is paved. Well, our road is a dirt road. And Mr. Possum says, "Look at this rock." So I went over to look at it. And it was not a rock. It was a chunk of concrete. And I had to laugh because I used to play this game. Well, first of all, my environmental science students, one of their assignments was to bring in a rock. Go find a rock and bring it in. And you would not believe how many hunks of concrete and tar would show up on my desk when I told them to bring in a rock. And I had to say, that is not a rock. It is made from rocks, but it is a man-made building material called concrete or cement. Some of them had cement. Some of them had, like hunks of tar from the road. And I said, those are man-made building materials, not rocks. So then I made up a little game, what's a rock and what's not a rock? And that was a lot of fun to play with the kids. And I had like a table of examples. And, some of them were rocks, and some of them may have looked like rock, but they weren't really rocks. So, and they had to sort them out into what were rocks and what weren't rocks. So that was just a fun activity. I'm talking like these are like third graders, right? These are my college environmental education students. Yeah. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Anyway. So they sorted out the rocks, So I did have a chunk of concrete. But concrete looks like a rock called a conglomerate. Because a conglomerate rock has like a matrix with all these little rocks that are naturally cemented into it. So maybe this is where people got the idea of making concrete. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so Mr. Possum said, "Look at this rock." And I said, "Well, that's not a rock. That is concrete." So I took a picture of the rock. I got a picture here. And you can see, well, the matrix is really a crushed rock, like a limestone, like what they make cement out of. And then they put all these little bits of rock in there. So, basically it is made out of rock, but it's not a natural rock, no. So I thought I would do a quick page for day 3, not a rock. Not a rock. It is an obvious mistake. It certainly has rocks in it, but it is not a rock. I have a picture of the Colosseum in Rome because the Romans did use concrete, and the old skyscrapers were made from concrete. And I just thought I'd cut out some of these buildings from the Extraordinary Things to Cut Out and Collage book that was gifted to me. Yeah, that was a gift. And I've used a bit of it already. And I'm looking for things that may be made out of concrete. Now, I looked up the Chrysler Building, And they said the Chrysler building was actually the first skyscraper not to use concrete, that it was made out of steel and brick and masonry. So I won't use that one. And I did use the Roman, but I think these older buildings, I bet you there's concrete in them. Like maybe that one, maybe. Kind of looks like it's got some concrete in it. So let me get a couple of these cut out, and then I'll come back and just do a day 3, not a rock page. I forgot to take the box off the table. And I had given Stanley an organizer box. And these are all the rock. Sorry about that glare. These are all the rocks that he has found so far. And there is a bunch of them. So he is learning how to sort them out. I'm learning how to sort them out. Yeah, so yeah, let me get some of this stuff out of the way here. So I got room to glue these things on here. I'm going to put it on here something like this. Alright, so I'll do this one first. I did get some more glue sticks over at the Walmart. Yeah, so Stanley's learning how to sort the rocks. He wasn't sure what to do, and he kind of put them by color. But when we figure out what they are, we might have to move some of them around. I didn't want them all at the same level. Trying to stagger them a little bit. Did I have that one taller? Yeah, I think I had that one taller. Maybe I'll do it like that. They're all kind of like black and white, but sepia. These are lighter. The Colosseum in Rome is darker. The way they printed them. Oh, this one's got a wrinkle in it. Didn't lay that one down very flat. This paper in the back is from a Michael's paper pad. I know, usually I go for like lots of color. There will be color in this journal. There we go. I like it. I like it. Okay, I'm going to put the picture of the chunk of concrete down. In this little space right there. I'm going to do my journaling and come right back. This was a really fun page. Day 3, Tom finds a, wait for it, not a rock. Concrete is a man-made material. It is made from limestone. Love it, love it, love it. I'm just having so much fun with this book. And I think, yeah, I think I'll do day 4. Do the rocks that Stanley found. So when Stanley was sorting out his rocks, he came across these 3 that looked the same but all looked a little different. They're all black and white. This one has larger chunks of black crystal in it. I think that's hornblende. And little specks of white. This one is more, they're almost in rows, but not quite. And it does have that hornblende in there. And then this one is really pretty, but the crystals are much larger. So let's see what the rock identifier is going to call these. And it all depends on the lighting and the side of the rock that you choose. All right, this one's saying diorite, a type of igneous. Remember, igneous comes from a volcano, but diorite is intrusive, which means the crystals in it are much larger than the extrusive because it cools much slower. The slower the rock cools, the larger the crystals can grow. Now see, that says diorite 2, even though it doesn't, I mean, it's the same color, but it really doesn't look like that one. And then let's try this one. And that says diorite 2. So, diorite. So it's identifying all three of these as diorite, even though the crystals are different sizes. But they're all black and white. And they're very pretty, very shiny, very pretty, black and white. So, I made another black page because when I looked up diorite, I found they're also used in construction. I took a picture of all three of them on the lid of the, the cover of the book. And something here a minute ago. Where is it? Where is it? Stand by. Oh, here it is behind me. So diorites are igneous rocks, but because the crystals are larger, you know that they cooled off in the ground. They never exploded or erupted. They never came out of the volcano. They were molten magma inside the ground, but never came out. So when they cooled inside the ground, it took a lot longer to cool, and that's what gave these crystals a little bit longer time to grow. So rocks like that are used as, this is called railroad ballast. See these sharp pointy rocks all here under the railroad tracks? Those are called railroad ballast, and they support the railroad tracks because it's very hard rock, and it doesn't it takes a very long time to weather or wear away. So it's you know, perfect for railroads. So I have this from a magazine, Smithsonian magazine, and I'm going to put this picture on the page. Diorite is so pretty though. Sometimes it's used like actually for building. They might even put it on the face of a building. And not just the parts, you know, that you don't see. So I'm just going to make a rippy edge here. And cut this to fit, I believe. What side do I want to lose? I don't want to lose either side, but I have to lose a side, so. And I think I want it a little bit smaller so I can see an edge of black. And you see this rusty, this rusty water tower there? That reminded me of something. Well, the day that we had gone to Logi's greenhouse, when I gave you that nice little tour of the greenhouse, we passed over railroad tracks, and Mr. Possum stopped because there was this awesome rusty big water tower. Look at that. It looks just like the one in the picture. So I'm gonna, add that to the page, only because there's one in the picture and I haven't used that yet. And I'm going to put these rocks over here. I might lose some of these clouds, so I could journal on the top of the page. Remember now, maybe you're not journaling about rocks, but you know, maybe you can journal about other things that interest you and get some old magazine pictures and some scrapbook paper and just put together a really fun notebook of something that you're interested in. It really doesn't matter what it is. Oh, I remember, you know, when you go to the flea market, something you see a lot, you know, I know people are doing like glue books and trashy books, and, you know, they take images that they find and they just glue them, you know, like in a journal. Well, back in the, I guess in the 40s, it was just very, very popular thing to do was to, I guess young girls did this, I don't know, you know, go through the magazines and cut out the pictures of the stars and the singers, the actors and the actresses, and they would glue them in their scrapbooks. And, you know, you can find these scrapbooks at the flea market. One of these days I'd like to buy one, but they were a little pricey. A little pricey, so I haven't gotten one yet. And if I got one, I don't know what I'd do with it. Unless I like took it apart somehow, or used bits of it, or used it to make another journal. That might be on there crooked, but that's okay. Possum straight, possum straight. I did have another picture that showed this with the railroad tracks, and I could have used that, but the water tower was much further away, and I just wanted a little bit better picture of the water tower on there. And put the rocks on there. Okay, I'm going to do my journaling. So there we have it, day 4, March 3rd, 2023. Black and white diorite used in construction and as a railroad ballast. And I got my old rusty water tower there, just like the one in the picture. My little collage there with the buildings. And then day 2 was the quartzite that looked like a dinosaur skull. And day 1 was the basalt, which comes out of a volcano. All right, thanks for coming along today while we played in our dirt road diary. Bye-bye now.